Hello, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Tuesday, June the 5th. This is George from Trade Pro Academy. This is Victorio from Trade Pro Academy and Marky. Yeah, look from Trade Pro Academy. Um, Today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, it's going to be fun. How's that for an intro? Now we're going to talk about Apple. We're going to talk about Tesla and Donald Trump. Those are the three things we're going to cover in today's morning market update. And I think market volatility is going to creep up a little bit today. I think yesterday was a nice upside day. It started off a little bit bearish. That bearishness reversed the bullish momentum. And the close wasn't very impressive. The close was getting faded around some of the key resistance of yesterday's session. We trended a little bit higher overnight. And today, I got a feeling today we get a little bit more selling to come out. And if I'm wrong, then just buy it. All right. What you start out is with an idea. And if the idea doesn't work, the next one is the right one. There's no need to make one and prognosis and die by it throughout the whole day. So today's morning market update, Asia review, Japan's up 0.3%, Hong Kong's up 0.3%, China's up 0.7%, India's down 0.3%. Feels like India's down every day. What's going on? Slight strength in Asian markets overall. In Europe, mixed markets. London's down 0.4%, Paris is up 0.6%, and Frankfurt's up 1 whole percentage point. So there's some mixed markets. Like I said, some of them are going up, some are going down. Mixed bag of nuts. The United States here at 6:20 in the morning. This is quote as of then. Dow Jones is up 0.1%, S&P's up 0.1%, Nasdaq's up 0.3%. We'll talk about why Nasdaq is tending to lead. Twitter, by the way, guys, Twitter had a huge rally yesterday, up 5.5% on news that it's being included in the S&P 500 index. So what ends up happening when the company is indexed, we actually have a really good blog post that you can read about. I'll put it in the description below. I don't think it's there yet. But it tells you what a company does once it's included in an index and why it rallies so much. Basically, every institutional company that has S&P 500 portfolio will have to buy Twitter, all right, to represent the 1/500th of the index or whatever value they've assigned to it, however they want to be overweight or underweight that stock. So that's why I got a little bit of upside. Crude oil is down 0.5%. We'll talk a little bit about crude today. Some shocking revelations, but not surprising to me, to be honest with you, that you're not going to hear about in the mass media of what's happened between Donald Trump and Saudi Arabia. Gold's down 0.2%. Bitcoin's down a percentage point, but holding around the mid 7,000s, and it's pretty stable. 10-year Treasury yield's down 2 basis points, hanging out around 2.92 to the 3-point range or 3% range. As you guys know, 3% and above tends to get scary for equities because borrowing costs increase that much more. This morning, 9:45, we have PMI Services Index, 10 a.m. ISM Non-Manufacturing Index. That's the big one of the day, ISM Non-Manufacturing, top of the hour. That's what you have to be on the lookout for. Also at the top of the hour, we got the JOLTS. Jolt sounds like an energy drink. If I created an energy drink, it would be called the Trade Pro Jolts. Jolt shots. Job openings and labor turnover survey is what it stands for. Not as exciting as my energy drink idea, unfortunately. So yesterday, Apple shares hit an all-time high of $193.42, but then got faded $2 lower right away. And the reason being is tens of thousands of developers and attendees were at the WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference, for Apple, and we heard a lot about some product expansion, some improvements. The key updates were the new iOS 12 system. Only Apple will spin this as a positive. Get this. Their update to iOS 12, their main update is that it won't be slower on older phones. That doesn't sound like a positive to me. That sounds like the old one didn't work and they're just fixing something that should have worked. However, iOS 12 won't slow down iPhone speeds on older devices. That's sort of one of the revolts. A lot of Western population doesn't realize this, but the phones that are used firsthand in the Western society, once they're used and sold, are bought and shipped out to other countries where they're a little bit more affordable. So they're a couple devices back or a couple reiterations before us, and iOS 12 won't slow down their phones. Of course, from an Apple perspective, clearly the business motive is clear, right? They say, oh, well, you got a new operating system, is faster, only faster devices can handle it. But that's a whole bunch of BS. The operating system was designed to purposely run slower on older devices to incentivize you to buy the new one. And they got caught. All right, they said, whoops. And that was supposed to be because of technical hardware that can't support new operating system. None of that's true. So anywho, that's what happened at Apple. That was one of the key updates. Also, voluntary app limits to curb iPhone addiction, and a group chat feature for FaceTime. Basically, you're gonna have an application to limit the amount of time you spend on your phone. There's a question: are humans addicted to their smartphones? The answer is yes. And look, I'm holding mine right here, but it's different because I have notes. This time it's different. All right, on to Tesla. I want to talk to you guys about Tesla. Tesla shareholders today are expected to make some votes, including splitting Elon Musk's CEO and chairman positions. So he's right now chairman and CEO. They're going to split that and appoint somebody else as either chairman or CEO. I believe Musk is going to hold on to the CEO role, and they're going to get a chairman, which means Elon Musk may lose a little bit of his control within the company. All right, he's going to two positions split into one. I mean, Elon Musk says he juggles his time between SpaceX and Tesla. He's probably the busiest CEO in the world. They're also reappointing 3 board members. Their annual meeting starts at 11:30 a.m. Watch Tesla like a hawk, TSLA. That's what's going to be moving some technology stocks today. And Apple. Apple's going to be pricing in some of yesterday's developer conference throughout the day as well. So Apple and Tesla should be on your radar throughout the market, and you should watch them for correlation. If Apple starts to go bid, markets will follow with it. Apple's a big constituent of stock markets. So keep an eye out on them for sure. All right. Tesla's in a little bit of trouble. Model 3 production, cars burning down, it seems like daily. Now let's move on to Donald Trump, because this is interesting. Mexico is set to impose duties on United States pork imports. So they're basically saying, all right, Donald Trump, we see your move and we raise you by putting a tariff on what you import from us. And it's a 20% tariff on legs and shoulders, fresh and frozen. That's what, with bones and without bones, said Heriberto Hernandez. All right, there's going to be some movement in some stocks. So pork producers are going to be TSN, HRL, as in Lindsay, SEB. Those are your 3 tickers that you should watch if you want to look for an opportunity for that trade. Of course, another one is the Mexican peso. On this news, the Mexican peso is getting absolutely hammered. US dollars up 1% against the peso as of this news. So there's going to be some opportunity in the currency market there for you also. Last but not least, crude oil is back near 2-month lows at around $64 a barrel. I did a test of that even level, and it continues to sell. All right, there's a lot of catalysts for the sell-off. Number one, the U.S. oil output from shale production has taken a lot of the supply side that OPEC and non-OPEC producers used to put out. That's not a good sign for OPEC and non-OPEC, because yes, they limited supply, but somebody else is just taking the market share. So it's a battle for market share at this point. There's also tensions and really mistrust in OPEC and what's going to happen in the June 22nd meeting in Vienna. A lot of traders are now expecting them to increase output early, despite them having a gentleman's agreement for a production cut or freeze up until the end of December of 2018. Well, they might do it early, and it might happen as early as June 22nd in 3 weeks or so, less than 3 weeks. Another thing that's really interesting here is there's rumors that Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia's prince and said, listen, we sanctioned Iran and put a sanction on them basically for their exports of oil, but now we're missing that little piece of supply. Why don't you go ahead and increase your output by 1 million barrels per day to offset Iran's sanctioned production? All right. There's very credible rumors that Donald Trump just went up and asked for that. And if that's the case, then Saudi Arabia is going to want something in return. Maybe they'll say, all right, how about you try to shut down some shale production and help us out? I don't know if Donald Trump could do that, but the bigger and most important part here is that if Saudi Arabia complies and does ramp up their production, it's going to show in the OPEC reports. And guess who else is going to cry foul and get sour? Russia. They're going to say, well, we want to put out $1 million or 1 million barrels per day as well. And they'll put some out. And then everybody else in OPEC and non-OPEC producers are going to say, well, we do too. And then there goes your agreement. right? Agreement goes out the door. It's like any other agreement. When the incentive is high to cheat, there's going to be a cheater that emerges. The higher the incentive, the more likely. So crude oil's got a number of factors working against it. And, you know, I got to tell you guys the truth. We had this saying, we're fundamentally bullish of oil. I don't know if I'm fundamentally bullish of oil anymore. In fact, I'm looking to sell rallies and see how much lower this thing can go. And putting gas into the AMG S63 is not, it's getting better. It only cost me $600 to fill 1/10 of a tank the other day. Anywho, point I'm trying to make is oil's got a little bit of downside. It didn't cost that much, but it might as well have. All right, trade pros, you guys have yourselves a good day. Manage your risk. Watch Tesla, watch Apple today, and listen to the news. Have your ears out to the news wire, because squawks on these trade wars. I think the one thing being underpriced in the market right now is the risk of this trade war. I don't think that's been priced into equities yet. You look at it, and there's a lot of hype and excitement about Kim Jong-un next week. By the way, Kim Jong-un is asking Donald Trump to pay for his hotel. There's a lot of excitement about the Fed. What's the Fed going to do? What's Vienna's meeting oil going to do? But nobody's really asking the question, how has this trade war escalation been factored into the market yet? And it hasn't been. And I think that's sort of what's keeping me a little bit on edge and looking for the bearish side today. As a day trader, I welcome any volatility, right? I don't have to be right on direction. I just have to ride out the volatility. And that's what we're going to do today. You guys have yourselves a great day. Manage your risk. Trade like a trade pro. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Tonight, we have our trading psychology lesson 6. We're already on lesson 6, Victorio. Yeah, there's one more. We wrap it up next week. So we're almost done the trading psychology course, but it's all recorded. The benefit to you is you could sign up now and marathon them. All right, I know that marathon is a word used for Netflix, but when has Netflix ever made you money? That's my only point, my one and only point. And with that, I'm going to spin around slowly and open up the trade room. You guys take care. Have a good day. And manage your risks today. Gents, anything, any last words, any parting words for our good friends on YouTube? He said, manage that risk, boys and ladies. So yeah, listen to Mark. I agree. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye. All right, trade pros, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to show you some levels and where we're going to start to get into some trades. Victoria will do NASDAQ. Steven will do oil, and then we'll just make some money today. We got some opportunities for sure.